Looking for a moonrise glow kind of man, but not even a man, because it needs to be like a miracle, as if a relief check was like lost in the mail, and accrued interest and arrived at my door, or as if ballistic fell from the sky and didn't burn the soil, but just spread seeds. I'm needing someone to smother me with attention, like a face mask when he's gone. I'm needing someone to give me his debit pins, a dangerous rose. I'm teething, let's say. Imagine if narcissists could walk on water.
can I say? How can I thank you? You gave me life. You make me laugh every day. You are my friend, even though you're my mother. You make me laugh. You save my life every day. I love you. Thank you. I love you. Thank you. When I was 12, I tried to be normal. You told me not to. You said I should find my own way. You are my friend, even though you're my sister. You make me laugh. You help me find my own way. I love you. Thank you. I love you. Thank you. The earth has split into two well-defined regions. Fissure eruptions are further rifting the slope. I cannot help. There is no way to resolve it. I can only walk across the rift as it glows. I love you. Thank you. I love you. Thank you. As the night arises, it feels warm against my bare feet. But I must not linger and be frozen by the fire.
Hi, everybody. Let's hear it again for that stunning performer Gabriele Christian. I'm Ryan Davis. I am the head of events here at KQED.
And I am Pam Squires with Litquake.
We're very happy to have you here for tonight at KQED Live and Litquake. KQED Live is our event series dedicated to bringing journalism to life on stage, amplifying local Bay Area culture, and deepening civic participation. And that artist that you just saw, Gabriele Christian, is a Black, Harlem-born, Bay-bred, anti-disciplinary artist and curator, balancing solo practice and ongoing performance collective work with Rupture, directorial work as a half of Oyster Knife, and co-direction of the legacy experimental dance company Jess Curtis Gravity in the wake of the late Jess Curtis's passing in 2024. You can follow Gabriele at gabriele.mov on Instagram, and I recommend that you do. And KQED Live, like I said, is our series dedicated to bringing journalism to life on stage and amplifying local Bay Area culture. And we do that in wonderful partnerships like tonight. Now, can I see a show of hands? Is anybody a KQED member in the audience? Thank you very much. We really appreciate the support, especially right now. I don't need to say why. But if you are not yet a member, it comes with a lot of really great benefits and privileges, including early access tickets and discounts, both at our own events, at a lot of great institutions across the Bay Area. And for $12.50 a month, you can pick a premium. We have a lot of great artists and artisans who grace this stage from across the Bay Area. One of those, Malena Maggie Lopez. She's the owner proprietor of the Chocolate Bar in Berkeley. That's chocolate with an X. She's crafted an original recipe inspired by KQED. It's got hints of ginger and coffee, and you can select that as your premium and support a local Bay Area artist while also supporting KQED. And you can do so by checking out our donation page at the QR code. I see somebody doing it right now. Thank you. Okay. I also have to really quickly thank our season sponsors. They're Genentech and they are San Francisco Symphony. We're really grateful for their support of our mission of civic and cultural engagement in the Bay Area. So let's hear for them. Thank you. But we get to work with some incredible Bay Area institutions that uplift our local culture, and one of those is Litquake.
And this event is part of Litquake, which is San Francisco's literary festival now in our 26th year. Litquake is taking place from October 9th to the 25th all over the Bay Area, featuring close to 150 separate events and more than 500 authors. We'd love to know a little more about you and what brought you here tonight. If you wouldn't mind taking 2 minutes to fill out the survey you found on some of those seats, we'd greatly appreciate it, as it helps with the grant funding that makes Litquake possible. Please return your survey to a volunteer in a Litquake t-shirt and on your way out this evening, and please pick up a program. Those are I think on your way in and on your way out, and to find out about more of our events. Also, Noe Valley Books is selling books by tonight's authors on a table outside. Be sure to check that out.
Okay, now who is excited for some new queer Bay Area literary imagination? Yes, all right, so without further ado, I am pleased to welcome your host and MC for this evening's proceedings. He's a multi-hyphenate artist with too many hyphens to count. Please welcome to the stage, Baruch Porras-Hernandez.
That's me! Hey, give me a hug. Come here, Ryan. Give it up for Ryan and Litquake. Come on, nice and loud for Litquake. Litquake is fantastic. It's one of my favorite things to do every year. Hello, everybody. Are you ready for the show? Yeah. Before we start, you have to give a round of applause to Gabriele, who started this show. Gabriele Christian. Please give it up for Gabriele Christian. That performance piece and that dance was fantastic. I wish I could move that well on this stage. I've been doing shows with KQED for a while, and I think like around my 5th show, I still tripped in that back thing. So I love people that are coordinated. Tonight, we're gonna talk about bodies, queer bodies, sensuality, sexuality. And for the first time in a long time, KQED has let me be a little naughty tonight. So let's give it up for naughty words and naughty writers. Welcome to New Queer Lit Bodies in the Ether. With me, your host, Baruch Porras-Hernandez. I say my name several times so that you have time to follow me on Instagram. That's right. Oh, excuse me, allergy season. Good thing I have my little KQED cards. I feel very profesh. Some of you have seen me here before. I've been hosting shows with KQED for a while now. Poetry shows, literary shows, variety shows. There was a superhero show here once, a comedy night. Hopefully we can do that again. If you've never met me, yes, my name is Baruch Porras-Hernandez. Yes, I'm very sexy, but no, I'm not single. But you can hit on me if you're rich. But you have to wait till after the show. And you have to own property in San Francisco. I can answer more of your questions just by looking at me. I know you're like, wow, that really tall, hot Mexican looks so sexy. Yes, I am Mexican. And yes, my name is Baruch or Baruch. It's pronounced Baruch, I believe in Hebrew, but I'm not Jewish. I was raised Mexican Catholic, which means I was raised oh so sexy, but oh so ashamed, and yet oh so turned on. Ay, 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 you know, stuff like that. My ears are so big, but my mic keeps falling, so if you see me fidget, it's okay, I'm just being cute. What else? Yeah, I'm gay, I'm not Jewish, born in Mexico. Ah, yes, I was born in Mexico, in Toluca, Mexico, capital of chorizo and los diablitos rojos. And then I crossed the border and came here to steal all of your jobs, make out with all of your husbands and boyfriends, and eat all the donuts I want. ¿Por qué? Porque sí se puede, cabrones. That's right. And as a proud immigrant, and because KQED has let me be a little naughty tonight, I want to start by saying there is nothing this administration that has taken over our country can do to change how proud I am of being an immigrant. I will be visible everywhere I go and every show I do until they take me away. And then I'll just host an open mic at the Make America Great concentration camp. I'll be there. I'll see you there. I made that joke on Facebook, and a lot of my friends were like, that was really insensitive, that was awful, how could you do that? And so I deleted it. But before I deleted it, one of my comedian friends was like, dude, if you don't say hi to me at the camps, I'm gonna be so mad. I thought that was adorable. Tonight's show is, like I said, part of the legendary literary festival, Litquake. I love working with Litquake, and I love working with KQED because they're so Bay Area. I grew up here in Albany, California, in the East Bay, and writers, the type of writers that Litquake and KQED work with, I feel saved my life. They are change makers. They work with writers that do the thing, bring people together, create art, make change. But the writers we're focusing on tonight do that on a much deeper level. With their words, they're very skilled words. They are so much more talented than me. That's why I'm hosting. But that's okay, I'm still here and I'm still reading. They do something in a deeper level. They remind us that our bodies can make magic. They remind us that our bodies are holy and there's no shame in sex, and that exploring your sexuality is also exploring your very existence and identity. And for some reason, that has always been policed. They're part of a long list of writers that from the beginning of time have been exploring why our bodies make magic when we get together to do the nasty. From Rumi to Sappho to Sor Juana Inés de la Cruz, Oscar Wilde, James Baldwin, people have always wanted to write about how our bodies come together to create sparks. And for some reason, straight people are obsessed with that, obsessed with policing it. Queer sexuality has been accused of causing plagues, has been accused of witchcraft. At one point at a dinner party, I was at a dinner party as a child, and I heard one of my parents' professor friends saying no. Homosexuality is going to bring the end of civilization. And I just remember thinking oh wow, we are so powerful. And for some reason, writing about queer sexuality has always faced attacks, discrimination, laws. So many governments have laws on queer bodies and censorship, which is why I'm so happy that tonight we're going to celebrate the writers that we have coming. These writers not only are incredible, they're talented, they're sexy. I said all of that, blah, 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 governments. I'm not single, but I'm bilingual and ready to mingle. I've always asked, why do people get so mad when you write about sexuality, when you write about naughty things? Is it because we're so cute? Is it because writing like this can help you find out something about yourself, can educate, can help heal, can elevate? Or is it about control? The writers we are focusing on tonight are brave, daring writers I consider people that will not be controlled. Writers whose writing, I believe, helps free us from the historic hold of, big ugly jerks. I'm trying not to cuss too much. But that's enough about me. Are you ready for your first? So the way tonight's gonna go, we're gonna hear readings from the writers. Then we're gonna sit here and have a really cool in-conversation. I'm gonna ask them some questions. We're gonna talk about our favorite Golden Girls characters. It's gonna be a fun night, and I am so happy y'all are here. Please give yourselves a round of applause for joining us tonight. And before I go on, I am a chubby man, so I'm also muy caliente because I'm Mexican. I'm gonna take this off. But I just wanted you guys to see my new coat. I got it at the Macy's sales rack. It was originally $800, but I got it for $23.99. All right, our first writer is, I love his book. He is a poet and queer literary historian living in Oakland. He is the author of Snail Poems and the gorgeous, beautiful book, Don't Leave Me This Way. With Lauren Levin, he edited Honey Mine, the selected fictions of Camille Roy. Please welcome to the stage our first writer, Eric Sneathen. Look like sexy.
Thank you. Oh my God. That was such a beautiful wind-up. Thank you, Baruch. Thank you, KQED. Thank you, Litquake. I'm feeling a little nervous, so for whatever reason, my thought is just to like turn around once, and maybe I won't be as nervous. But now I'm just dizzy. But thank you all for being here. I'm mostly going to read from this book called I'm literally reading the cover of my own book, Don't Lead Me This Way. It is taking its title from that famous Thelma Houston song, but that song itself was a cover that was later covered by another group. It's a book about sharing a story. That story is about the AIDS epidemic. It's about Patient Zero. It's about Randy Schultz. Baruch was talking about policing of sexuality. Part of the story of this book is about the bathhouse closures in 1984, which is the year that I was born. So it's bringing in some of the texts from that period related to Gaetan Dugas, who is named as Patient Zero of the AIDS epidemic, bringing in texts related to Randy Schultz, and also bringing in some of the testimony of the plainclothes cops who are circulating through the bathhouses at that time. And you'll see how all these texts kind of get mashed together to bring you some sexy, angry, sad sonnets about the AIDS epidemic. I was told that my book about AIDS wasn't very sexy by a straight person, and that person's name is James Sherry. And so he lives in New York. And so I tend to dedicate my readings to James Sherry. And this poem is not for him, it's for my friend Ted. But I think of James when I read this poem. It's called Red and Came Ripe Throughout My Day Here. Someone come watch me smile, like this wet floor with bottles broken and delightful free-for-alls inside his mouth is an exquisite lube, me hard enough to blow this load, longing for creatures seeping their filth drops down red, and came ripe throughout my day here. I'm ready, never clean, the cum spit out, fingering off, a leather guy boots me hard. When I empty my throat inside it, moaning, screaming, so feverish, afraid jock, thickly thighs and straps squeeze, blood so tight, it breaks into what we're meant to be here, a part of the breathtaking change of scene and piss-stained. I don't need to imagine it. So thank you, James, for that one. Throughout my body, I wept and wept. I tried to unfold that indescribable male throughout my body. I wept and wept. A depression that's difficult to read. I wiped him off of me. I wore him down. My geography in sync with his porn, I drenched myself in gallons, buckets of queers. Clean-shaven ghosts enter the premises, playing pool and dice. The hot water, it continues to splash that version of history. The tales told to say anything, to talk again together. It's not over, and I am so very happy. Please, another picture, one more film. A man I am, no boy, no zero, no pill. Thank you. Absorbing the obvious things like beauty. And this is one of the poems that's dedicated to Gaetan. Gaetan snatched me up, my dick like diamonds. I harnessed him completely, absorbing the obvious things like beauty and strife. His voluptuous white teeth have gone supple. I keep paying for this fortnight of tokens to show me his face, those 2 dots above his name, the way you can always call me him. Like certainty, I wanted Gaetan to see me scientifically, to examine me through this greasy lens. I keep paying for it, and I seem to listen, just listen, as I shower him off with time. I can't remove cruelty. I take what kind of test I can with him in yellowing ice. Time loops back to be parts of bridges. Time loops back to be parts of bridges. To stare out, I went at the land, my nodes like horses. The hours I sick, I said, at ice melting fast, I shouted, take it down in me. Go ahead, take me 300 at a time. This crystal fatigue and culpability quick. Suck them from my broken snout, shred me a little part, and leave. You can cast me forward into an exhausted person. An arid desert might yet bloom. It feels good, very sane, to have it raked across my ass Gaetan, to be blown off the page. Breathe deep, boy. Each passage tries to hold you in place greedily, a beacon pretty much just like me. Thank you. Out on a whim, and I ceased to be terrified. When we went outside that particular life of drug-supplied, white flowers crackling, the activity stood at the center of a graph. It was my duty to make him feel made, to be himself, the man who lost his future. I won't let it go. I can hold it all. It seems the men were shuffled up, and you keep it breezy, though we're not all such a lucky thing. Doctors delivered up the guise of beauty, and we went wrestling at it. My brain leaped out on a whim, and I ceased to be terrified. I began to masturbate these letters, try to catch all the gnats in someone else's room, to kiss them tightly. I couldn't, but I want to. Thank you. I'm going to read one more sonnet from this book before reading you a poem about rugby. And may we all be desired, I was. Another machine that lingers outside your door, another occupant who opens one way and then another. It's all right. Everyone just reach in and take some. I'm his ass, engaged in seed, mouth fallen slack. All of my beautiful lovers wrapped up in tape and black leather, flesh flushed while fucking my partner, his face inches away. Gaetan looks so woundedly, asks, why are you interested in these people? Nudging keys at me, straddles me. A kiss is no answer, but a wilderness of hearts and fears. What else can I say? A record of real beauty lives in that house on fire. Thank you. I joined the gay inclusive rugby team about a year ago, Go Fog. And they're practicing tonight, so I'm missing them well, not yet, but soon they'll be at practice. So this is my rugby poem for, not really them, but for you, because you're here. There's a bunch of stuff to know about this poem, but it really doesn't matter for today. Friend, people keep asking me to write a poem about rugby. What do they know about rugby? I guess they're tired of me writing about friends, cats, and flowers. Oh, and gay sex and stuff like that, like historical trauma and ghosts, breakups, and whatever else. I'm only writing this poem because I think you'd be one of those people, not that you are a person per se, who is also interested in rugby as a sign of my personal growth, but also the unexpected turn of fate or something. Like, I've become one of those fags who does push-ups in the mirror and listens to Tate McRae's Greedy for maybe 10 sets of 12 reps, which is bonkers, but whatever. So, rugby. We play with 15 players on the pitch, AKA the field. I'm a forward, which means I'm supposed to be thick and short, but you know it's okay because I'm tall. The point is that it's kind of like soccer or football. You're trying to score by running the ball to the other side of the pitch, but you have to pass the ball backward. There are a lot of rules, which are called laws, because they're open for interpretation by the referee, whom everyone calls sir. But only the captains can talk to the referees, so you don't really have to worry about that. The exciting part for me is that I'm tall, remember? So when the ball goes out of bounds, it gets thrown back in. I must jump in the air to catch it, but I'm also hoisted in the air like a cheerleader, super high, so that's fun. And then there are penalties, like when the ball gets thrown forward instead of backward, remember? So then I'm in the second row of this formation called a scrum. And because I'm tall, I'm a lock, which means that I basically get on all fours and wrap myself around the guy next to me, and then I put my hand inside the shorts of the guy in front of me, like around his thigh, and I literally grab the band of his shorts, and hopefully not his pubes, but sometimes I do, so sorry. And my head gets squeezed in between his thighs, which is wild. When I first started playing, it's true that I thought about poetry a lot. The way we have to balance and work together and be ridiculous and not fall over. Maybe it was getting squeezed by their thighs, but I was bunched up tight with the other guys. I thought of Jack Spicer telling me where to position my feet, and like, someone else is mad at me, but we're going to figure it out. That is, how to work together, even though we have different work to do. Not everyone is a lock, in case I didn't explain that part. And maybe like a month ago, I was at a movie watching party with some of the rugby guys, and we were watching a movie I'd already seen, something gay and idiotic. Go figure. Anyways, I ended up telling the story of the first time I had sex. Did I tell you that story? Oh, thank God, because it's so embarrassing. Anyway, okay. Obviously, there's a lot more to rugby, but it's kind of a good start. Like, when you're watching me from the other side of the grave, you might know what's going on. All right. Thank you.
Give it up one more time for Eric Sneathen. Get up here. I got a couple more questions for you. First of all, never stop writing about gay sex, ever. Okay. Second of all, never get rid of that mustache. Third, what can you tell us about this amazing T-shirt? What does it say on it?
It says, well, you can read it.
My guardian angels are sex perverts.
Thank God.
Yes,
Thank
tell us
God.
about it. Where'd you get that? What does that mean?
My friend Zach Osma made this shirt, and it came in the mail last week, so I thought I'd share it with you all. I love it, and I love him. Yeah.
Gorgeous. I love the shirt. I loved your work. When I do shows like this in my house, I like to ask fun questions because they can get so serious. What is the show that you're like super excited about right now that you want like everyone to watch? I can't answer that question, but I feel most embarrassed because I was watching And Just Like That, which was so terrible. But then afterwards, I was also watching the show on HBO about the frontier. I don't know if any of you saw this show, but it was like 3 families like learning how to like live in the late 19th century out on the frontier, AKA Canada. And it was so bizarre. I loved it. It was a perfect antidote to And Just Like That. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
A lot of butter churning and stuff like that.
There was butter churning, and they had to sell it back. Yeah.
Oh, my.
To secure their land. It was very bizarre. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to do a thing. I'm going to have you join us backstage again. We're switching it up a little.
Okay.
So we can invite our next performer up here. I'll see you in a moment. Give it up for Eric Sneathen. Are you ready for your next reader? Yay, let's keep it going. Our next writer's solo show, Love in the Time of Piñatas, won Best Solo Comedy at the New York City Fringe Festival in 2025, last April. He is the author of the small poetry collections I Miss You Delicate and Lovers of the Deep Fried Circle, both from Sibling Rivalry Press. Also, they are coming out with a new collection of erotic gay poetry titled Esarakus, journal number 26. You have to get it because it's full of 10 sexy poets. He was born in Toluca, Mexico, and lives in San Francisco, and he falls in love every day. He's probably made it with your dad. Give it up for Baruch Porras-Hernandez. That's me. Okay. Poems. All right, here we go. My first poem is titled, Out, damn spot! Out, I say! Freshman year of high school, this girl came to school with a toothpaste stain on her jean jacket, and everyone thought it was jizz. So everyone called her cum stain for an entire semester, and possibly more. We learned a lesson that year, that the littlest thing can change your whole life, but only if you let it. Anyone can endure a semester of ridicule to come out stronger at the end of that tunnel, and that you really should be careful when rubbing one out, because that poor girl was me. And yes, it was cum. The end. Thank you. My next poem is titled, Be Fat, Do Crimes. Whenever I break a chair, just by sitting on it, I think to myself, wow, my body is powerful. I bend gravity as I walk. Feel the earth groan a little when I plant my feet on it. Let out a little, oh yeah, when I walk down the street. I crack mirrors when I look at them because they are not enough to hold my beauty. Calling all mountaineers, time to climb me like the sex mountain I am. Get on, fellas. Bigfoot is real. You found me, gargantuan, the beast of your dreams. Planetary, enough ass to feed a village. A couch you can fuck, a bed that will massage your back as you melt on top of me, a donut between both our mouths. I know skinny jerks hate it when I say this, but my life got better after I got fat. I'll say it again for the people in the back. My life got better after I got fat. And by my life, I mean my sex life, because this is the version I normally do in universities. So my sex life got better after I got fat. One lover says I make him feel like a real person. One lover says no one can make him come as hard as I can. One lover keeps coming back, says I devour him like a meal, and I do. He is delicious. I bite him from his little sexy toes all the way to his fucking earlobes, and it's disgusting. Here comes the behemoth. Get the fuck out my way. Oh no, you bought an airplane ticket next to me? Get ready to cuddle, bitch. My legs, my skin, my softness abounding, astronomical, my ass astounding. I have swallowed Jonah. He was delicious. I have swallowed the little wooden marionette and his little old man too. When I have troubles, just like every sexy fat guy, I eat a donut, fuck a beautiful man, and forget. I have something to tell you all. Be fat. Do crimes. Commit the crime of walking down the street while being fat with a smile on your face. I promise you, it will just ruin the fuck out of skinny bitch's day. All the men on the sex apps in San Francisco, if you're a fat person, sound like a choir of headless bodies screaming, I am into jocks, muscle daddies, twinks, college nerds, trans, otters, fit, any race, guys next door, older, younger, kink, pos, PNP, discreet, monogamous, polyamorous, piss play, foot play, puppy play, sir, boy, father, son, uncle, nephew, bisexual, bukkake, lampshades, cars, carrots, couches, corn on the cob, towels, curtains, Eiffel Towers, trees, carrots again for some reason, desks, sculptures made of thumbtacks, anything, well fuck anything, but for the love of God, don't be fat. No offense. I take care of my body, so should you. When I read that shit, I don't care. All I have to do is lift my arms at a bear event or the back of the Eagle and watch all the men start salivating with my shirt raises over my gut, but I always pull it down. And they go, no, 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 not for free. At the sex club, I run through the twinks like a lion runs through tall grass and reeds. They climb on top of me like Totoro, and I fly through the gay air. At the sex party, 7 men get on their knees to form an ass buffet, my tongue mightier than the sword. Where is the beef? Here I am. To me, my extra large X-Men. Sometimes I have sex, just because I know. Somewhere, some hateful twink is furious that a fat bitch like me is loving their life. I know my orgasms are so great that a skinny bitch feels the cosmic energy of my release from across the city and screams in jealous agony. And to them I say, oh, honey, go have a snack. The end. Thank you. Thank you. 2 last poems. This poem is a new poem. It's titled, anybody Avatar The Last Airbender fans? All right, great. Half of you are going to get it. Cool. It's titled The Bottom Avatar State. Did you guys know that getting wildly fucked can give you an astronomically good hair day? I didn't. The other day, this tub fucked me so good and for so long that at one point I started crying. I'd leave my husband for you. I'd leave my husband for you. Over and over again till he asked, do you have a husband? No, but if I did, I would leave him for you. When I left this man's house, I felt like I had just walked out of goddamn salon. I was a fucking Vidal Sassoon commercial. My eyes sparkling, my skin glowing. Time stopped enough for me to take 127 selfies. And folks, all of them looked good. At one point, when the top was hitting me with multiple orgasms, my eyes started glowing. Suddenly, I became connected to every bottom in the universe. I saw everything. Felt the orgasm of every bottom getting fucked around the world at the same time. Became one with the bottom spermcelium network, the ass astral plane, if you will. I had entered the bottom avatar state. My soul, pure peace. I saw the beginning of time. The first cave bottom getting his cave back blown out. Fuck like a naughty, naughty cave whore. I saw the future. When the bottoms of the last lazy bear on Mars, 3069, all have space orgasms at the same time during the last orgy of humanity before the gargantuan cosmic space octopus, size of a galaxy, swallows our universe, swallows our entire solar system, ending all human life in our world. But then I also saw the cosmic space octopus, now full of oh so much future gay space chiz. It develops a thirst for dick, so it needs a bigger dom top daddy space octopus. Finds it, that gives it a wild interdimensional fucking beyond human comprehension for over 3,000 years. The explosion is so massive when they both come, it restarts the universe, bringing life back into the world. When I am asked while on a panel for artists what advice I would give to young queer men, my advice is always, bottom sooner. You know what I'm talking about, boys. My advice to any straight man, anywhere, anytime, is always, bro, bottom sooner. Evolution or your God, put a magic fucking button in your man pussy that can connect you to existence. You wanna see God? Stick a cuck up your butt. As a bottom, I have learned, gay jizz we have been, gay jizz we are, and gay jizz we will be. The end. Thank you. All right. I have time for one last poem, I believe. It's titled Go Ahead. After the shooting, he asks, what would you do if you had to face these people that want us dead, us queers and trans people dead? If I ever had to face someone like that, I don't know what I would say, he tells me. That night I write this poem. Go ahead, kill me, and thousands of boys will wake up singing, yearning to kiss another boy. Kill me, and 10,000 more will fall in love. Kill me, and more men all around the world will become brave enough to make love to another man. Many more will hold hands in the daylight, become drunk with lust and love. Kill me, and queer elders will hold their lifelong partners even closer to their chests as they fall asleep. Kill me, and the earth will bloom, covered with young men, kissing, smiling as it turns, bursting with love. Queer love is the spark other planets can see from Earth in the dark. Queer love never dies. Kill us, and hundreds of years in the future, queer hands will still sway in the air, dancing, triumphant, joyful, spinning long after no one remembers who the fuck you are. The end. Thank you. All right. Oh. Give it up one more time for Baruch Porras-Hernandez. That's me. Hello. If you'd like a copy of those new poems, buy the Asarakis Journal that's out right now from Sibling Rivalry Press. It's not just me, it's other sexy queers and they're writing sexy stuff. Are you ready for our next writer? All right, here we go. Oh, I love that it says host, multi-hyphenated artist. Yay! That's me. Okay, our next writer, oh wait, hold on. Cards. Our next writer is the author of several books, including 100 Boyfriends, that's a fucking good book, which won the 2022 Lambda Literary Award for Gay Fiction, and was named Editor's Choice by the New York Times Book Review. He's also the frontman of the band The Younger Lovers, and a renowned performance artist and zine maker. He lives in Oakland. I am so excited he's here. Please give it up for Brontez Purnell. Hi, baby. Chill it. Mwah.
Like, am I supposed to just be talking? Like, okay, so like, my grandmother's brother came to the Bay Area in the 60s, and he was part of Eli's Mile High Club, the Bay Area West Coast Blues, you know? And so he had like 30 nieces and nephews, but in the 90s in Alabama, he would come back to Alabama, and he had this crazy white hippie girlfriend, and she was like Janis Joplin, and you know, my great-grandfather played blues, he played blues, but out of the 30 nieces and nephews, I could play guitar, and I was obviously a baguette. And they'd be like, you should move to the Bay Area, you should move to the Bay Area, you should move to the Bay Area. And so I did. I did. And I've written 7 books since I've been here. And I don't really write about sex anymore because I don't have sex anymore because I am going through menopause and kind of over it. I've been sexy long enough. And it doesn't interest me, but this story is from this book, from the first book I wrote, right? The first book I wrote was called Johnny, Would You Love Me If My Dick Were Bigger? I wrote this book in like 2008. And it was crazy, and like no one would have put this book out because it was about barebacking, it was about being punk rock in Oakland, it was about Mexican boys, black boys, us being fucking nuts in this place, right? Feminist press. Let me tell you this. These crazy white boys in San Francisco, Rudos and Rubes Publishing, they put out nostalgic, out-of-print, juvenilia fiction literature. They were like, oh, you're the perfect modern match to this. Like, let's put out this book. And they were like, let's like put out this book by this insane black faggot that's on cocaine and bourbon. When I was 27. I'm 43 now and, you know, I've cured. Anyway, so this story is called Johnny, Would You Love Me If My Dick Were Bigger, backed with Sex with Junkies. I was an American waiter bored at work. I had been suffering from an acute depression for 2.5 years. I woke up from a 2-hour nap and was about to miss my 12:05 a.m. BART train to the city. I never slept because I knew I was meant to be tired. I woke up feeling like God had punched me. I put on facial moisturizer and left the house without jerking off. I had worked for way too long at the diner and was privy to some pretty tawdry bullshit. In that movie Milk, I had seen that San Francisco was once a bunch of dudes with mustaches and flannel, clone core. I hate nostalgia. This was not a blip on the cultural screen. This bullshit was still happening daily. Every night before my shift, I light a prayer candle, sprinkle goat blood over my altar, and say my chant, I will fuck, kill, and eat all you Castro debutante bitches all night. They play the same shit on the jukebox, and after years of repeated listening, I finally allow myself to say it. I fucking hate the Smiths. Every time I hear them, all I picture is Morrissey alone in a room crying and masturbating simultaneously. Sometimes I don't know if I don't fit in because that's what's actually happening, or if I've been punked so long that I really don't know how to fit in, or if it's a straight up combo of the two. My therapist really fucks with me about it. She says shit like, is it hard being one of the few is it hard being one of the few black fag boys in a sea of white boys? Is it hard being poor in such an affluent city? Do you feel like these factors affect who you date and who will date you? I always ignore questions about race and class because the true answers to these questions never seems to work in my favor. And also, I feel like if you just ignore it, it will go away. Those true answers are no less true than the answers I have come up with. That being, I do not fit in because I'm black. I do not fit in because I'm poor. I don't fit in because I want to fucking kill. And I want to find boys that feel the same way I do. I know that they are out there. I don't date anyone, and all the couples come in on Saturday night. I hate seeing couples because they make me feel lonely. I'm not discouraged overall. I've fucked too many people's boyfriends to question my desirability. But my inner child won't let me not feel like something unfair and conspiracy-like is going on here. Maybe it's the way I dress. On my way to pick up a burger, I look in the full-length mirror on the way to the kitchen, and after dissing the clone core boys, I'm ready to admit my own fashion victimness. I dress like an asshole Berkeley student from the 50s. I hate nostalgia. I'm talking awkward glasses, anonymous black shoes, plain white tee, and khakis. Like, who the fuck wears khakis? I basically dress like I did in grade school, and I'm now ready to forgive all of the bullies for kicking my ass. I look like a dweeb. But if you dress like a nerd, people give you the once-over and never guess that you're falling apart on the inside, or that you want to kill. Camouflage. Urban camouflage. The ultimate problem with dressing like a child from the 60s and being black is that you can say, I'm a modernist, or I'm a classicist, or I'm dressed like the black dude from Weezer. But the Eastern European, Australian, Midwestern, clone core tourist assholes who pollute the restaurant, all they see is Urkel. Stephen fucking Urkel. It always hurts. This bitch called me Urkel one night and I almost cried, but then I remembered that it was the future and I could certainly get away with slapping a white woman. I didn't though. Like, what if she slapped me back? I had no time to entertain a standoff. 15 assholes walk in the door and I have a panic attack. 10 more walk in behind them, and as is always the case in my life, I ignore my own emotional needs for a job well done. The rush leaves and then shit really hits the fan. Michael walks in with Johnny. Me and Johnny fucked a week ago, and I told him he didn't have to use a rubber so he would like me more. I felt bold enough to ask why he didn't call me back, and he said plain as uninked paper, because Michael's dick is bigger. I wanted to be mad, but knew that you couldn't really argue with that reasoning. My mom had a saying for worrying about things you can't change. Your arms are too short to box with God. Apparently my dick was too. Fuck this, I'm getting high. I bought some shitty cocaine from the cook from my job, got off at 5 a.m., and went straight to the parking lot of the Travelodge in the Castro. But wait, this isn't shitty blow, this is good blow. Is this meth? I've never felt like this, sweating, short of breath, dick, rock hard and lonely, so fucking lonely. I met this guy who looks like he's tried every drug ever offered to him. He takes me to a room in a lodge that he's sharing with another dude, and that shit looks like a tornado had hit it. Nasty stuff everywhere. It looked like I could actually get bitten by a snake if I had walked into that room. He says we don't have to stay and that he lives in the Fillmore. On the walk to his apartment, I learned that 1, he's a drummer. 2, he's into jazz. Really into jazz. And 3, he plays drums in a jazz band in Berkeley. And 4, he likes to shoot up heroin. Before we walk into the apartment, he casually says, I need to shoot up before we fuck. And at first I paused out of modesty, but then remembered that I could do whatever the fuck I feel like. It's too late to try to fuck someone else. This ship was sailing. He puts on a jazz record and dips his syringe into a cup of water and says, don't drink out of this cup. And even with my very limited knowledge I have of his lifestyle, I remember the thought bubble above my head reading, duh, bitch. We started fucking, and like the animal I am, I got right the fuck in there. I was like, yeah, take all that little dick, you fucking junkie. You ain't got no future, and neither do I. Giggling like a little schoolgirl in my head the entire time. When all of a sudden he was like, my roommate lives down the hall. She's chubby. We can fuck her too. Ew. Did he really just say that? But then there's really no fuel left to be scandalized when you're barebacking some junkie you just met. Fuck it, charge it to the game, or not. This dude was clearly an asshole. The sun had come up and he told me he liked the way I dressed and that we should be boyfriends. I took a mental survey of the scene around me. I was in the Fillmore with my junkie jazz drummer boyfriend fucking the jazz records, dressed like an asshole Berkeley student from the 50s. Dude, fuck that. That's some beatnik shit, and I hate nostalgia. I ran out of his apartment completely naked. Epilogue. 3 days after Johnny told me he loved Michael more because his dick was bigger, I began to get all affected. First, I started binge eating, then I started cutting myself, then I took control. I did some yoga, I rinsed out my ass, I moisturized, I put on a pair of black Calvin Klein mesh briefs, black Levi skinny jeans, monochrome black Adidas, black gloves, black faux football face paint, like, Left Eye from TLC, you know what I'm saying? A black skull cap, a gold chain, and 1 diamond earring. I sprayed on some Calvin Klein's Obsession. I looked like a hip cat burglar or a member of Black Bloc. Either way, it was time for justice. I got a black bag and put in it a black rope with a grappling hook attached to the other end and a brick with a note attached. I snorted some ecstasy left over from the night before for a calming effect and hopped on my bike en route to Johnny's apartment. I locked up my bike and shimmied up the side roof ladder to the top of his 4-story apartment building. From there, I took the grappling hook and rappelled down the side of the building till I was on the ground looking up at his 2nd-story apartment window. I could have just walked to the other side of the building from the sidewalk, but I was addicted to the drama of the grappling hook. I said a prayer to Ogun, the African god of war, and with solid aim and dexterity, threw the brick through Johnny's window, laughing my ass off as I ran back to my bike. I imagined the look on Johnny's face when he took the note off the brick, revealing the message written in crayon, Johnny, would you love me if my dick were bigger? 2 months later, Johnny forgave me and threw a brick through my window with a note attached that said, yes.
Purnell! Yes! Iconic. Thank you, baby. I'm asking every writer one quick question before they go backstage. What is the show you're watching right now that you're like super excited about that you want everyone to know about?
I wrote for TV, and so I think that modern American TV is the literal detonation of intelligence. I refuse to watch Netflix. Please tell your children to read a book. Please, you know, I had a friend that was like, reading is how I learned that people had thoughts. And I was like, oh yeah, because you can't know that people have thoughts through film. So yeah. So they give a bunch of a bunch of left brain people. No, a bunch of right brain people have left brain jobs right now, and that's bad. Fuck TV. Oh,
So, I mean, hey, we got permission tonight. Fuck TV, read a book.
FTV, read a book.
We'll see you in a bit, baby. Brontez Purnell. All right. Are you ready for your last reader of the evening? Yay, let's keep it going. Your next writer is a writer-performer living in San Francisco, a recipient of the San Francisco Arts Commission Individual Artist Grants. Those are hard to get. Be impressed. Her debut novel, Ula, was published in 2017. Her second novel, Softcore, is published by Farrar, Straus, and Giroux, came out in February of 2025 in the US, the UK, and France. That is impressive. Please welcome to the stage our final reader, Brittany Newell. Look at that, baby.
Okay, hi everybody. Thank you for coming. So I'm gonna read from a short story because I'm honestly so sick of reading from softcore. And this is gonna be published in the upcoming issue of McSweeney's, and it's called Power Couple. Cooper had the crush on our therapist first. My crush came later, a sort of after effect, like kissing a smoker and getting bad breath. He talked about her all the time, her hair and her voice, and how she was the only person he'd ever seen wearing actual pantyhose. In 2025, he stage whispered, "It's practically transgressive." I guess it just rubbed off on me, a sense of wonderment and panic when she was around. Though my crush came later, it was just as consuming. We're both women, I told Coop. It's a different connection. But is this like a girl crush, he asked? Like sorority sisters wanting to smash Angelina Jolie? Fuck off, I told him. Don't minimize my desires. That night I dreamt of puffy lips, of kissing a woman surrounded by kids. In the beginning, our therapist was our celebrity. Eventually, she'd become our third, like a dog you adopt to distract from death. Her name was Vivian Lestrange, a name we both agreed, in the muggy enclave of our double bed, had to be fake. We looked on the internet for proof, but found nothing. The diplomas on the wall behind her desk all said Vivian, and she looked like a Vivian, slender and long-necked, a punishing brunette. She wore gray skirts with a slit up the side. During our sessions, I dissociated and whispered it, slit, slit. The internet said she was 40 years old. She's a Gemini, I declared one morning, as if that proved something. My high school boyfriend was a Gemini, the only dude I ever met named Courtney. Did I ask? Cooper snapped. Keep that shit to yourself. What did Vivian say about oozy boundaries? He sulked for the rest of the day. I made breakfast, then lunch. By dinner, he was soft again, poking me in the ribs with a rolled-up New Yorker. "What's for dinner?" he asked in a passable Australian accent, which was his way of apologizing. I'd known that he would come around. We had a session scheduled with Vivian for the next afternoon, and he liked for us to present a united front. She wouldn't want to fuck you or me, he reasoned, but maybe she'd want to fuck us. I met Cooper in college. I liked his lack of a filter, blonde hair tinged green by chlorine. For our first date, he took me to Costco. We ate jumbo cups of froyo and strolled through the store, pretending to examine blenders, idly squishing bulk bags of hamburger buns and murmuring in confirmation, soft. All the while, I could feel him watching me. "Sorry," I said, "do I have stuff on my face?" "No," he said happily. He pointed to my froyo cup. "I like watching you eat that." He fixed me with those cow-like eyes. "I can really picture how you'd suck a dick." He got away with saying this shit because he was so earnest. He didn't seem like a pervert so much as an alien, entranced by these wide things called women. We lingered by the sample station, not because he wanted another paper cup of microwaved corn chowder, but because he wanted to see the demonstration from beginning to end. Bravo, he bellowed as a crowd of shoppers emptied the tray. Bravissimo. When I got home from our date, my friends freaked out. Cooper Goldman, they said? Olive, no. He's like from this incesty Grey Gardens family. His great-great-grandfather invented I can't believe it's not butter. I heard he jacked off into a potted plant. I heard he's a biter, you know, in bed. I dreamt of him that night. We were getting hot and heavy in his dorm room bed, naked but for the foam fingers he wore on both hands. They were the glow-in-the-dark kind bought at football stadiums. When he touched me, it felt soft and silly. Nothing bad could happen here. He fumbled with my zipper before giving up with an affable shrug, then cradled my face in his hands and said sweetly, "Will you scratch behind my knee?" We were iffy 8s out of 10 when we got together in college, and over time became 5s. Cooper lost his hair, I stopped working out. We settled into our plainness like a pile of autumn leaves, neither red nor orange. I sometimes wondered if this was because of our love. By the end of their 20s, my college friends had all glowed up. They'd moved to New York, learned about lip liner, kissed people for money, rid themselves of self-doubt. They got Juvederm and PhDs, had their asses eaten in public parks. Their singleness had forced them to grow, and now they were dazzling. Now they were paid to go to parties full of 30-year-old models. I didn't know you could be a 30-year-old model. When I asked my friend about it, she chuckled conspiratorially. "The teen model is dead," she hissed, and I felt a pang of grief. But for whom? All the while, I'd been in the Bay, developing a taste for muumuus, reading articles on grout. I rode BART daily in my shapeless dresses, feeling secretive and regal. It was sexy to have a secret. I knew this from my early days with Cooper, when I'd walk to class with scarves hiding my bite marks. Except nowadays, the secret I kept was the unflashy fact of my body, my bagel-colored thighs. I worked as the personal assistant to an ex-circuit queen named Pinky, who had a noteworthy collection of vintage gay porn. My days were spent in his lambent Victorian, archiving rubber magazines for German collectors while he belted Barbra Streisand. After work, we walked to Hole in the Wall, where Pinky got tipsy and ranked all the famous cocks he'd sucked. He sketched them out on cocktail napkins, which he later made me promise to shred. "You don't know how many NDAs I've signed," he giggled, pineapple-breathed. He ranked the cocks by girth, by dexterity, by physical beauty, by something he called the Streisand effect. "Honey," he said, "this stays between you, me, and God." One night on my BART ride home, I realized Pinky was my closest friend, a 75-year-old man who often called penises Johnsons. All my other friends were busy, enmeshed in their lives of drama and sex. I looked around the train car, stricken. In the far corner, a businessman was pissing into a paper coffee cup. His penis looked like something Pinky would draw, turnipy and stout. I moved seats to get a better look. At work, I saw thousands of cocks, in every state of arousal, and I'd come to regard them with a specific misty tenderness, like when you see a dog in the street that looks like your childhood doggy. Like, "Hi there, Angel. Hi, hi, hi. I wish you nothing but big kisses." When the man noticed me looking, he smiled. "Plenty more where that came from," he growled, though we waited and nothing more came out. Cooper picked me up from the El Cerrito BART station. He hugged me, then jerked backwards. I thought he would tell me I smelled like piss. "Guess who I ran into?" he said. He didn't wait for me to guess. "Vivian motherfucking Lestrange." "What?" I gasped. "Where?" "At Berkeley Bowl, where else?" She was loitering in front of the bulk bins wearing, he lowered his voice reverently, exercise clothes. Can you even imagine? I shook my head. "Did you say hi?" "Of course," he said, "but you know how it is, the whole client-therapist confidentiality thing." "So what did she say to you?" I asked. "Nothing," he said. She walked right past me. It was intensely erotic, being ignored like that. Like she was a jilted ex or a one-night stand gone awry, and only we knew what really happened. We spent the rest of the car ride discussing her hair, how incredibly shiny it was. At home, we undressed at a leisurely pace. We showered and kissed for a bit, more animated than usual. The steam obscured our bodies, made them pliable and vague. I shut my eyes and pictured Vivian, her thin arms pinning me down. She banged my head against the tiled wall until I stopped resisting. I came in tandem with Cooper, which he loved. Afterwards, he kissed me and brought me my bathrobe, still warm from the dryer. "I love you," he said, helping me into it. Our matching white bathrobes made us look like twins. We wandered into the kitchen and ate ice cream out of the carton, not bothering to turn on the lights. And I'll stop there, and you can read the rest of it in the forthcoming issue of McSweeney's. Thank you.
One more time for Brittany Newell. Brittany, I gotta ask you a question.
Okay.
And welcome back to the stage, Brontez Purnell and Eric
Can we
Sneathen.
sit?
Brittany,
Go
I have to ask you a
first.
question. What is your favorite TV show that you're watching right now that you want everyone to know about?
My favorite TV shows are two literary classics. It's a tie between The Sopranos
Soprano.
and The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City.
Ooh.
Yeah, equally as compelling and rich with dynamics, in my
Yes.
opinion. Yeah.
Give it up one more time for our writers. So now is the time that we're going to have a little convo. We're celebrating their books that have recently come out or that are just their books. Mine came out 5 years ago. They're still for sale. Buy them tonight. I'm still getting my $7 residuals once in a while, and I can sometimes afford coffee with that. But buy my books tonight. Buy all their books. My first question is, what was the funnest part about working on your last or latest book? And I'm just going to go down the line and zigzag it. So, you know what? Ladies first. Brittany, you go first.
Okay. Well, the book that I'm working on currently is called Blue Movie. I'm like 75% of the way through it, and the tagline, I guess elevator pitch, is it's about a love addict living in San Francisco who finds herself caught between an emotional vampire and a cannibal fetishist.
Emotional vampire and a what?
Cannibal fetishist.
Cannibal fetishes.
Yeah.
How army of that.
Well, one of them. Well, I love a Wikipedia hole. Nothing pleases me more than getting lost in research.
Same.
Yeah, everyone does, I feel. And one of the most fun parts was, the book was sort of born out of this obsession that I had with Issei Sagawa, who is this sort of macabre celebrity. He's dead now, but he was a Japanese cannibal who some people, the real freaks know, because he was a best-selling manga artist in Japan. I could go into so much detail about it because I went so deep. I was reading, because the thing about him that I think people found so intriguing, well, there were a lot of things. He was 4'11" and very sort of he was very tiny, and he had an obsession with tall women. Yes! Yeah.
Short
So I felt
tonight at
hailed.
KQED.
Yeah, I felt like I was part of his mythology a little bit. And he was he killed and ate this woman in Paris when he was studying at the Sorbonne. He invited her over.
Oh, I heard about that shit on YouTube.
Yeah. No, there's a bunch of documentaries about it, and when they interview him, everyone is interviewing him. He was literally he was on talk shows. He hosted a cooking show in Japan. He was eventually extradited to Japan, where through some legal loophole he didn't have to go to jail. So then he just supported himself by being this sort of dark celebrity, and he had a cameo in this erotic thriller. In Japan, they're called pink movies, which is another very deep wormhole that I went down that I won't bore everyone with. But a pink movie is basically
I would love to
erotic.
fucking see your fucking
My pink movie.
your fucking X video search history.
Okay, no, everyone, the pink movies are on Movie, okay? They're this very interesting, Okay, basically like the like porno studios in Japan gave all these artists like free reign to be like, you can do whatever you want, no matter how like artsy fartsy, there just has to be like this amount of sex scenes and like this amount of like torture scenes. So like the pink movies of this era in Japan are actually like very like beautiful and like also like deal with like all the things that I like to work with in my work, you know, like loneliness and desire.
I
and
fucking hate that I know this now.
yeah, get ready for your wormhole because it's so deep.
When is that book coming out?
Good question. I still have to sell it. But yeah, I'm probably doing myself no favor.
That's okay. That sounds really interesting.
Yeah, you think so? Yeah.
I'll get you some money, Mom.
I need it. I'm going to try to go to FSG, which is our mutual publisher.
Nice.
We love you, FSG. Thank you for...
Brontez, what about you? What was the most fun part about working on your book, The Bridges I've Burned?
Okay, well, let me talk about the new thing I'm writing.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah. Go ahead. We want to hear that too.
So two things. I just finished my sci-fi book. It's called The Crystal Stair.
Nice.
It's set in both simultaneously Alabama and San Francisco in the 70s, and it's about a family of black psychics at war with each other. And my next poetry volume is I'm talking to City Lights. It's going to be in the Pocket Poet series. And it's called Diary of Dead Bachelors, and it's 41 poems about 41 men who die alone.
Oh my.
So that's what I'm doing now.
That sounds amazing, though.
Yeah, it's based off of my dad and my stepdad both overdosed in their like late 40s, early 50s, and it's about how the end of toxic masculinity is that men die alone. But some of the bachelors die happy. So I'm exploring the lives of a lot of different men that die by themselves. As a man who lives with 3 other artist men in Oakland who are in their 40s and who is happy.
Good. And that's through City Lights Books.
Yeah.
That's awesome. If you haven't been to City Lights Books, go buy a book from them. They're fantastic. They're in North Beach.
Please support City Lights.
Support City Lights. Fuck TV. Buy a book. Speaking of which...
TV, buy a book.
Yes. Eric, what? Do you have any future projects you're excited about or a cute story about working on your poetry book?
How'd you get so muscular? I mean, do you work out like every day?
It's
He
a lot,
is
it's
a
a lot of
rugby
books.
player.
It's a lot of books. I got a PhD in literature, so I went to like dusty archives around the city, and that's what I did. So like, I talked just a little bit about like the plainclothes cops who used to go to the bathhouses here in San Francisco. All of those papers are at the San Francisco Public Library, and so you can go and see what they were doing and recording in, you know, bathhouses and bookstores and, you know, other places people were having public sex. You can just read their diaries. So that was really exciting for me as like just like a nerd. Yeah. I also I just had all my friends write me about their experiences with public sex and had them send me emails so that I could work those into the book too.
You gotta get emails from the 3 of us.
I know, yeah. Okay, I'll rewrite the book, but yeah.
Well, perform it at Steamworks.
Or Power Exchange.
Oh my God.
Or Power Exchange.
I worked at Steamworks before I even had sex with another man. I remember I was 20 years old. I just moved here. The manager at the time told me to stand up and turn around. He asked me if I had problems with my father, and I was like, who doesn't? He was like, you're hired.
Yes.
And then I got ran through.
On the clock.
What a good first day of work.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I have some follow-up questions for my next book, but yeah. Great.
Well, the rule as a Tower Boy. No, 2000.
Allegedly.
2003 Steamworks, you were only allowed to play 1 female vocal per hour.
Why?
Because they didn't want fucking queens
They didn't want
dancing in the street, like in the hallways. They didn't want queens
That's
queening
so
out too
silly.
much. And you weren't allowed to talk because nobody wanted to hear your queenie fucking voice.
Oh my goodness.
You know, so everything was done through nonverbal like touch or whatever. But this was pre-Grindr, and so on Lights Out night, you know, when I was like 22, there'd be 350 men in a room, like. And it's like that rule with fish, right? When fish are feeding, either all the fish are feeding or they're not feeding. And it's the same in the sex environment. Like, it's that power hour where either everyone's like going at it or everyone's just kind of walking around looking at each other like, oh, is this gonna happen or not?
Right.
Oh my goodness. I used to,
Is that the face you would give?
I used to work at Blow Buddies, may they rest in peace, and we called it the nighttime ghosts. Like at the part of the night where we were about to close, everybody was done having sex, but there were still those men that had hope, and they would walk around for like an hour just like hoping somebody would touch them. And I would start playing Disney music to get them to go home. I have a silly question.
Was that effective? Did that work?
Oh, it got them out so quickly. Okay. I would just start playing like Part of Your World from Little Mermaid. There was always that one queen who would start singing with me.
Yeah.
Because like, why not? You know?
Why didn't you marry her?
I know, right? She had no money. I need money. San Francisco is expensive. What is a fun or silly misconception of you as a writer when you're a writer that talks about sex in your art? For example, I'll answer first. People know that I write a lot about sex, and I write a lot about gay sex. So for some reason, normal people think I'm a ravenous Energizer bunny that sleeps in a sex dungeon at night. When compared to my actual kinky friends who actually do own sex dungeons, they consider me super vanilla. I'm just a fat man that wants to eat donuts and watch X-Men cartoons with a nice, cute man that wants to cuddle with me. So do you guys have any fun or silly stories about the misconception of you as a writer who talks about bodies or sex or politics? And I'm going to start with Mr. Mustache over here.
My book has a lot of sex in it on purpose. I wanted all the sex to be kind of compounded and brought together. But I think one of the what people think is like, I think that it's sexy, but I find it really tedious. But I think that's kind of part of it. Like when you're talking about all the fish having sex at the same time, you know, and there's a pattern to that. Like that pattern is itself kind of tedious, but it's part of our sexual culture also. So I like not all sex is sexy.
Oh yeah,
definitely.
definitely.
I think that's one of the misconceptions about my writing.
Oh yeah. Like sometimes I feel like when people think they're gonna read like a book of sexy poems, they think it's just gonna be like, you know, eggplant, eggplant, eggplant. When yours is a gorgeous book that literally brings back to life someone who was villainized. Buy his book, please. Brontez, do you have any stories or misconceptions about you as a writer who sometimes talks about sex?
I say that I write anti-erotica. I write anti-erotica. I write about the parts of sex that are not sexy. Sex is not meant to be sexy. Sex is the thing that returns our humanity to us. Sex is the same as shitting, eating, breathing, all those things. It's, you know, it's not meant to be like this kind of like porn conceptualized thing. So like I read about Nikki Giovanni, one of my favorite poets, said this thing, behaviors make no sense outside of feeling. And so that's how I generate my sex writing. Behavior makes no sense outside of feeling. So that's what I try to connect to.
I relate to that a lot. I mean, like when softcore came out, I had a very bad habit of like compulsively reading my Goodreads, which I highly recommend people don't do. There would just always be like these like Karens being like, okay, they would either be like, this book is gross and disgusting or whatever, which is fine. But then there would be people being like, this was so not sexy. Like this was so like terrible erotica or whatever. And it'd be like there was like a misconception that because I viewed the book as like a love story, that meant that it was like a romance, which like in terms of like book publishing or like a romance novel is like such a like, like charged like genre term. So there would be like some like crossed wires, which is obviously like frustrating, the like conflation that like a book about a sex worker or a book about sex work like therefore like has to like only like serve the purpose of like titillation or whatever, when actually like there's like very few, I mean there's like lots of like, you know, absurd like dungeon scenes in that book, but there's like almost no like actual like classical like sex scenes in it. So I'd be like, yeah, if you like pick this up wanting erotica, you would be like very disappointed. I mean, if you picked it up wanting to like hear about like some dude getting like fisted, like at the dungeon. But like it's always described in a very like unsexy way. It's like described as like work, which is like sometimes funny.
Can I fangirl?
Oh, go ahead.
I really love the granular way you like kind of like pick apart and demystify, you know, like sex.
Thank you.
I haven't read your work yet,
But I'm
about to.
Curl up in bed and read his book.
It's really gorgeous. And shows like this, I feel like a couple months ago I was on a panel. It was like a poetry panel in the Berkeley Book Festival, and one of the hosts was like, "How can poetry save us during a time like this?" And I had to go first, so I was like, "It can't."
Yeah.
Like, poetry can't save us right now. Poetry can inspire us. Poetry can heal us after things. It can do a lot, but I feel like right now action should save us. And then I started talking about something else. But one thing I have been asking a lot of my fellow writers, a lot of my fellow creatives recently is the current state of the world. Is the current state of the world making you push back or question the importance of work like ours? Recently, some of my family members have been asking me to be less gay or less sexual on social media or in my work, not because they don't want me to be, but because they're scared that something might happen to me in the future because of how our country is going. So what do you guys feel about that? I'm sure none of us are second guessing it, but it's okay if you are. Like, is it making you question that? Or why is it important for us to write the way we do right now?
I was born in Alabama during the Reagan administration to a Vietnam vet stepdad. And the Klan used to march 15 minutes up the road every year. I cannot remember a time in my life where Nazis were not surrounding me. No, I am not afraid.
This is something I feel like...
Welcome, I'll see him in hell.
Yeah, thank you. This is something I feel like I tell a lot of people that this is not new. It's funny to watch straight artists be like, we gotta do something, now is the time. And like, I feel like gays and trans folks and people of color are like, really? Now? Now is the time?
Okay, I was in Gravy Train. I came here in 2002 during the Indian Summer of Love, and I feel like we gave them so much queer creativity, so much resilience, so much rebellion, and the only thing they gave us was Biden and Drag Race.
Yeah.
And then they gave us
Biden on Drag Race.
Oh.
Maybe that's what'll save us.
That's what would have saved us.
Yeah.
I mean, Kamala on Drag Race couldn't save us.
So, not to quote The Color Purple, but I've seen a lot of suns go down, and we'll see a lot more.
Oh yeah, my mother, the first time who shall not be named, became president, I had a panic attack, and my immigrant Mexican mother was like, Baruch, he is not the first tyrant, he is not the last. Your ancestors have survived worse. Your generation has the internet now, and you guys are gay, rainbow. You're gonna get through this. That was the first time. The second time, she was like, where are we going? Spain? Mexico? Europe? Eric, did you wanna say some stuff? Very difficult topic.
Yes. But mostly I was thinking about what you were talking about at the beginning, which was about what can literature do? I feel like for me, as a writer, there's one answer. As a reader, there's another. Of course, you're kind of always doing both. My work has been about transmitting this story around the AIDS epidemic and saying this is important and it's consequential, and how we transmit the story is important. And that happens in many ways, but one of the ways it happens is through language. So I always want to be paying attention to that. I think that transmission is important. But then thinking about action, one of the slogans related to ACT UP, of course, is silence equals death, right? So we think about the importance of speaking up. But another slogan that came out of ACT UP that is more local to our history here in the Bay Area is action equals life, right?
Yes.
And so,
Oh, shit.
there it is.
Action equals life. I love that.
And it came out afterwards. I think that's part of the reasons why it's not as popular, just because of where it comes out sequentially. But I also think that it was a debate at the time of like, what does it mean to be active? What does it mean to be passive, right? Silence equals death has that implicit, like, you need to speak up, right? But action equals life is, of course, a spur to do something and to figure out what that is for each of us.
Yeah, I love that. I hadn't heard of that one before, action equals life. I hope there's T-shirts.
There were T-shirts. Go to the GLBT Historical Society. There are T-shirts, for sure.
Brittany, did you want to touch on that at all?
Yeah, I mean, with like the question of like, yeah, like I guess it made me think about like as a reader, like, and the two, like I also work as a dominatrix, and I think that both of the things that I deal with as both a writer and like a dom is like loneliness, and at least as a dom is like usually like male loneliness, and like seeing it like up close in this like very like intimate and like charged way where I'm sort of like being like entrusted as like a witness to like these secrets. I mean, probably unsurprisingly to anyone who knows me, my specialty is like sissies and cross-dressers, which is also like something that I like. I know, big surprise. But it is something that I like take seriously, like being like a witness, because like, I mean, sometimes they want to like, you know, get beat up or whatever, but a lot of the times they actually just want to like be seen in their like, you know, like attire, in their like negligee.
Pretty negligee.
And, they need that witness, and I think this idea of witnessing and being a witness also like animates and motivates my work as like a writer. So there's like some sort of like dual interaction between these two jobs where you are like working with like secrets and working with the things that people don't show others, and like that to me is such a like supreme like pleasure of like reading something that like really resonates me, is like feeling seen by it, or like feeling that there's some like secret being expressed between like the author and myself. And I don't think that that's like necessarily like inherently political, but I do think it's like important.
Oh, definitely important.
Yeah.
I like the theory that everything is political, and especially writing about the stuff in the lives that I feel the four of us do. I mean, I joke that all I do is write about donuts and gay sex, but you know, sometimes I do read my work and I go, oh, that I do have a little deeper message. And unfortunately, we're out of time, but the last thing I will say is the three of you are so gorgeous and beautiful, and I loved hearing your words tonight. And I know that every single one of you is going to go home and buy all of our books. Buy mine first, then Eric's, then Brontez, then Brittany's. I'm going to let you guys exit the stage. Please give it up for Eric Sneathen, Brontez Purnell, and Brittany Newell. Thank you so much, y'all. Folks, please give it up for the, hey, baby. Please give it up for the AV Loft crew, Ryan Davis, Micah Dayag, and senior producer Yoann Martinez. You could be anywhere, but you were here tonight supporting queer arts, supporting queer literature, and supporting KQED. I don't have to tell you to donate, but folks, donate. Every single one of you knows a rich person, and every single one of you tonight should tell them to donate to KQED. Not just writers like us, but organizations like KQED are under attack, and they need to survive. Because I'm not joking. When I was 9, I grew up in the East Bay. I saw a television thing put on by KQED that talked about gay men. I had never heard of gay men spoken in such a positive, beautiful way. And I literally was like, oh my God, I'm not alone. I exist. Time to not kill myself. So not only are you going to tell your rich friends to donate to KQED, you're going to buy a $150 chocolate bar tonight because it looks delicious and it was made by a very fancy person somewhere here in the Bay Area. And I guess it's vegan and gluten-free or something and nut-free. That does sound delicious, actually. So folks, it's time to take a nice, oh, wait, hold on. It's my best side. Take a picture of us looking amazing and give us all a round of applause. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Thank you so much, everyone. It's time to bow. Let's do a little bow. Yeah. All right. Have a good night, everybody. Yay.
Say